people that told us to respect the institutions now want to get rid of it. You heard it from them last night. With the midterms fast approaching, President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and the Democrats are already setting up abortion as their #1 election issue.
This fall, Roe is on the ballot.
A woman's right to choose, reproductive freedom, is on the ballot in November.
The political panel is here. Joe Concha and Kevin Walling are here to break down the political fallout, what we can expect to see following this bombshell ruling. Gentlemen, thank y'all so much for being here on this Saturday. As always, Kevin, the Democrats were looking for an issue. They had crime, they had the economy, they had immigration, and all of that was going the Republicans' way. But this is the issue now for them. How do you guys plan on spinning it in this next election?
Yeah, Lawrence, it's a good question. I've said from the get-go that I still believe that the economy will be the #1 issue in the midterms. We're about 135 days away from this election. Inflation and the cost of gas, the cost of food in this country is still going to be the single driving issue for voters at the polls. Now, I think the Roe decision and the Dobbs decision will have an effect on the margins. We're seeing these spontaneous protests in all the major state capitals. We're seeing them in Washington, D.C., where I am here today. They are still marching right now to the Supreme Court. And I think there will be a key group of people that will vote on this particular issue on the margins and might have an effect in some of these key congressional districts and certainly in the U.S. Senate districts, Senate campaigns, where you have a lot of open seats in places like Georgia, in places like Pennsylvania, places like North Carolina.
The question is, Joe, is that going to be enough? Is this issue enough when you have parents that are living paycheck to paycheck with families already? Is this going to be the signature issue?
Well, Lawrence, there was a campaign slogan back in 1992. I don't even know if you were born in 1992. But
I was born in 1992.
Okay, very good. So at that point, and Kevin knows this, that, basically Democrat Bill Clinton's campaign slogan, it was very simple. It's the economy, stupid. Outside of 2020, when you had a once-in-a-century event like COVID dominating the election, the 2022 elections will revert back to form and go down to pocketbook issues when it comes to inflation and gas prices. Unless, things change between now and Election Day on those two issues, there's a red tsunami coming for Democrats in November. Now, to Kevin's point, I think Democrats will be more energized on the abortion issue, but they're going to come out anyway, I think. So in the end, we're looking at the GOP going back to, taking control of the House and probably the Senate as well, because you need one seat flipped in order that to go back to the Republican side as well. So I just don't know at this point, when you look at Gallup polling and you see pro-life, pro-choice, do you support either side? It's basically a 50-50 issue at this point. I don't know if it turns anything at this point outside of energizing Democrats a little more, but not enough to overcome the Republicans taking the House and the Senate, Lawrence.
Kevin, I want to shift a little bit because there seems to be, look, I understand both sides, sometimes they lie, they, hyperventilate, but the lying on this issue to say that abortion is outlawed in the country, that's just not true. But it seems like that messaging is going out there. Is it just a political strategy?
Well, Lawrence, I think, there are 9 states right now with these trigger laws where abortion is outlawed. There's going to be more than a dozen states in the next 30 days where you're going to see that happen. You see people like Mike Pence, one of the leaders of the Republican Party, pushing for an all-out ban on abortion on the national level. So I think that is what's next, and you're going to see Democrats campaigning against those proposals. You're seeing 6-week bans introduced in places like Florida and places all around the country with regards to the Dobbs decision. So I don't think that is hyperbole. I think that is a reality in a number of these states where abortion is already banned because of those trigger laws, and where you're going to see more states move in that direction with these conservative Republicans.
But Joe, even Kevin just said it's about 9 states. So we're not talking about the full country. If you want to go somewhere to get abortion somewhere in the country, I don't see Republicans running California and New York anytime soon.
No, definitely not. California, New York, Illinois, you name those states, they're going to stay blue. If you need an abortion, you can get one at this point. Look, this is a monumental decision that we saw come down. But at the same time, we knew it was coming now for about 6 weeks. And I just don't see this, again, being the shock value 5 months from now. I'm not 5 months from now, but I guess 4 months from now, as far as the midterm elections, Lawrence.
Yeah, so true. We'll have to see, though. Joe, Kevin, thank y'all so much as always.
Yes, we will.